who it is. It's Rod the Prob back at you again, man. It's so much going on, um, um, especially in the rap game. Um, Cartel Bo, Sauce Walka, it seems to be an apparent, what I'm saying, issue. Um, I think along the lines of subliminals, I think on the line of people just tripping with each other. Um, we all know what the situation is. Everybody knows what it is. It's been made public. Yayo has issues with Sauce Walka. Um, Sauce Walka has an apparent issue with Go Yayo. We all know that, the politics and, what I'm saying, the clicks and things like that can be kind of edgy when it comes to the music game. And for whatever reason, it may be street politics, it may be music politics, or it could be both. But nonetheless, I find it just a very, 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 very slippery situation, with Cartel Bo throwing his pool party and, the invitation being thrown out to somebody, especially within the city that's not from the city, um, that he has pretty much particularly issues with. However, I think that the situation, for it to be spoke about and to be used as far as entertainment purposes, I think it should be changed. And I'm gonna tell you why. Just give me 1 second. The reason why I feel like this situation can be rectified and could be just made, made to just be at a calm is because I don't think that it needs to go anywhere than where it is. You know what I'm saying? Things have been quiet in the entertainment industry as far as, you see in the piece with YSL and Lucci and them making their amends. I mean, I think that there should be some footsteps to be followed as far as to not create issues. Now I know Go Yayo has had open issues. He went to Say Cheese TV and openly and blatantly spoke about his issues and wanting to do certain things. But at this point, it's like, hey, listen, are you more focused on the gangsterism or more you focused on a career that you could potentially have? You know what I mean? As far as, that whole situation in its entirety, is it really worth it? I don't feel like it's worth it. You know what I'm saying at this point? I mean, as far as, this is the music industry. People are going to have relationships. People are going to be cool with certain people. But that does not mean what's going on, what's going on. But that does not necessarily mean that it has to be an issue. And I think that's where you have to grow. I think if you're in your 30s and you're the same way as you are in your 20s and your teens, then you failed. I feel like if you're in your 40s and you're the same way that you are in your 30s and 20s, you failed. And as far as them, Cartel Bo hitting the ground running, making a name for himself in the industry, man, my applause goes out to him. I'm good. I'm good. My applause. Let me see if I can say how back. Uh, I think I can say how it's different on here, but this is my first time me going live. But I can say this: in that situation, I think that they need to sit down as men, have the conversation, um, and just basically talk. And the reason why that I think that they should talk at this point is because it should not get out of hand, especially when it comes to Sauce Walker, who's a great artist of the city of Houston. I love him. Cartel Bo, as far as what he went through, being incarcerated, and him going through his issues and then him coming and hitting the ground running. I think that there should be a certain level of togetherness, especially in the city, of them being able to create the music that they've created. Cartel Bo is one of my favorite artists too. So it's kind of just bad in a situation to see both of them uh, being at a disadvantage as far as the situation in itself. I think I think as far as one of the greatest moments in music history was the South coming together, being able to see David Banner, Lil Flip, Yin Yang Twins, Little John, and all the South just collectively getting on stage together. That's just me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you already know what happens with rap beef. Things get said, words get exchanged, disrespect comes. You know what I'm saying? Then you have entourages, you have crews, and then we all know exactly what happens after that. And then, especially with the Go Yayo situation and them being cool, that like I say, a lot of these things could be handled up front, straight on, straight ahead in the situation, and just be dealt with. You know what I mean? You're older now. You know what I'm saying? You guys have made millions of dollars. Cartel Bo is on the way making millions of dollars, and it should not be this nonsense that's going on within the city. Because at the end of the day, if we are supposed to be repping, you know what I'm saying, Houston as a whole, then we need to get away from them situations. You know what I'm saying? They call me Rob, Rob the Prod. That's who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna cover this pretty closely. I hope that the OGs of the city can get in, you know, and have a conversation between these two, if there is a misunderstanding, and just let it be at peace. You know what I mean? The city's been at peace. You know what I mean? The music has been coming out of the city that is really, really good. And I'm just enjoying it. And I want everybody to understand that as a person that is in the, you know, in the know, you know what I'm saying? What's up, Tron? What's up? In the know, I don't want to see no negativity. We've seen so much of that in the years to come with hip hop beef. And like I say, we just seen YSL and Lucci squash their beef and be on the stage together. You make more money. Lamar edit. You grab the camera for Lamar edit. I don't even know what that is, but um I feel like you make more money coming together. I mean, like I said, I had a post that I had put. What if Pac and Big could have squashed their differences? What if we could have got a Rockefeller D Block album? You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to say this too. What happened to the posse cuts where everybody in the city would jump on a track together? You know what I'm saying? Having people from the east, you know what I'm saying, especially within Houston. What's up? And people just being able to come on this and just give us the music that we're asking for. A lot of the nonsense and a lot of the antics and stuff takes away from the quality of the artist. You know, a lot of the I'm gonna say this, a lot of the niggatry, you know, depreciates the value of the artist, the luxury of the artist. And I think if you're building your brand, you don't have time for nonsense and bullshit, especially when you're trying to build your brand. And let me say this, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the marketing. There are so many naysayers. There are so many negative people. Um, that can be in any industry. It doesn't have to be in music, but nonetheless, yes, you're supposed to protect your brand. But in these type of situations, you're always one phone call away. You're always a just a understanding away of it, just having one just logical conversation and it actually being met on both sides. You know what I'm saying? We already know with these situations, egos collide. We know egos collide, but exactly at the end of the day, we don't need those to collide because we do want to see artists be great. You know what I mean? So with that situation, I hope that they can get it together. If you want to come up, you want to speak on the situation, by all means, this is the platform for it. Shout out to Sauce Walker, shout out to Cartel Bo, both great artists of the city, and I hope they get it together. I really do hope that they get this together. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some great music comes out of it. Be competitive on the music blast. Don't be competitive in the streets because at the end of the day, streets don't pay you nothing, and it pays you double with death. So, you know, I just hope that they can get that together. But y'all let me know, you know, what y'all think. And if y'all get a chance, man, we got an episode coming up tomorrow. I'm gonna be sending it out. We're gonna be going live. We're gonna be talking about some things. I want to be clear about that. Uh hold on. We're gonna be talking about social media's dirty little secret, how it breeds cheaters. We're gonna definitely be tapping into that. So if y'all get a chance, by all means, tap in. We gonna be talking about that. Social media's dirty little secret, how it breeds cheaters. I'm gonna show you some secrets that you can tell if your spouse or your significant other is cheating. And it necessarily doesn't mean that you have to look in their phone. It's an overall behavior, and it's certain things that we're going to point out. And I'm going to give the male perspective, and then I got Demi coming on, who was a great guest the last time, and we're going to show up, we're going to show out, and give y'all guys one hell of a show because we want to build better people one conversation at a time. We're trying to change the world one conversation at a time, and if we can be honest and we can be truthful, then we can start changing the narrative of how these people present themselves in the world. Because me personally, I want to be truthful. I want to live in the truth. I want to live in that moment in that spirit of truth of which people can't live. There are people right now with people that they love and care about that they cannot be 100% fully trusted with. There are people out here in this world right now that they cannot trust. And they only can trust them so far. Like when I say a moment of truth, of basically exchanging phones, most people can't do that. Most people can't exchange phones. They would rather live in an unknown than being in the known, especially when it comes to the trust of a significant other. And that goes for both sides. That doesn't just go for the women. It doesn't go for the men. It goes for both sides of the spectrum. In order for your relationship to grow, there has to be a certain level of trust. Why should I be with somebody if I have to second guess their actions? Come on. If you're in your 20s and 30s, and you're in your definitely if you're in your 40s and 50s, and you're acting just like you were in your 20s, then you failed as a person. You're supposed to be creating the nostalgia and the value within a relationship in order for you to grow. And most people can't be honest. It's people right now going to church every Sunday and lying to themselves, lying to themselves. Can't be honest and can't be truthful because let me tell you something. Social media puts a pressure on people to advocate for ignorance, advocate for everything that is unbecoming of bringing somebody together. They have special groups. And when I say hate, and I say this, hate with the reverse of love of advocating for somebody to cheat, advocating for somebody to have a baby out of wedlock, especially on their spouse, or somebody actually committing something that is unbecoming of their relationship to destroy it. And they have a special interest group on saying, hey, it was justifiable. You did what you had to do. And they will side with them and not be honest with them. We got people out there like that. We got people that have these group chats. We have people that have these close friends that perpetuate the ignorance of failing your relationship. They got people right now that are in their ear in group chats and also in close friends to destroy your relationship. Just like in this Sauce Walka and Cartel Bo, you can have people in your camp to give you negativity in your ear to perpetuate the ignorance and to keep the stuff going on. And we're gonna discuss that tomorrow. So listen, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Central. I want y'all to be a part of something great. I want y'all to be a part of something that's different. There are a lot of podcasts out here that lie. There are a lot of podcasts out here that's going to try to sell you something outside of courses and all of the nonsense of which you don't need. I want to give y'all an education and I'm going to give you something brief. The therapeutic system, the counseling and therapy sessions, it is a billion-dollar industry and it's well on its way to $1 trillion industry. You know why? Because they're banking on your parents not building genuine people. You know, they understand the significance. There for every action, there's a reaction. I'm gonna give you some real live game here, right? In the market of us being separate, and when I say separate in the household, they have a special interest group that monitors behavior from kids in elementary all the way to high school, depending on if they had their mothers and fathers. And that's how they're building the therapy industry. They're building that industry specifically knowing that they're creating single parent households. They're creating broken homes and they know that that therapy is a billion-dollar industry that is built. I'm gonna tell you something. They take both sides of the argument. They'll put your kid in special ed. They'll take your kid and put them in slow courses. They'll take your kid, put them on psychotropic drugs, right? And then at the same time, when they grow up and they know that they needed that nourishment of love, that nourishment of understanding, they'll turn around and recommend therapy. The school system will recommend therapy and treatment and medicine, making millions of dollars off your child per child being on those psychotropic meds. Then turn around and recommend therapy on making you a customer. That industry is focused on making you a customer, making your children's customer, making your children's children's customers. It's where we at in our society. So if you don't understand the significance and the power of togetherness as a family, as a whole, your circle complete, wife, husband, together, you're complete. And when that child is born, you put them in that inner circle so that they could go out as half of a circle and match with another person and become a full circle. We don't do that in our culture because now we have special interest groups. Like I told you, they take both sides of the argument. Yeah, cheat. Yeah, go ahead and do what you do. Yeah, go ahead and create the rap beef. Go ahead. Yeah, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to benefit from it. Always remember when there's two families beefing, somebody else actually gets the treasures. And it's never both of the families. So if you want to be a part of something tomorrow, you guys want to talk, have that conversation. If you want to come up, hey, I don't trip. This platform is open to where we can have these open conversations and talk. I have built this platform so that we can have these conversations and be open and be honest and be real because there are a lot of people that don't know things. And that's where I want them to have a comfortable place and a comfortable space to where we can have these conversations. And there are going to be some hard truths that are dealt with on this platform. We don't kid, we don't comfort people in their ignorance, and we damn sure don't comfort them in their lies. We tell the truth here because we want people to become better people. We want you to leave here feeling refreshed. We want you to come here feeling relieved and most of all respected in any situation because we're not here to judge. The only thing we're here to do is to make you become a better person. And we want you to scale up in anything that you do, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your businesses, whether it's whatever business endeavors that you have. We want you to scale up over here. When you see me quoting certain things, that means I've read, I've actually done the due diligence of researching, talking about Plato. A lot of people don't even know who that is. Epictetus, which was a Greek slave. I bring and implement some of these things and these words of wisdom so that you could actually look at life a little bit different, especially if you've been through some hardships in your life. There are so many people that go through so many hardships and don't have nobody to talk to. A lot of them are holding it inside, stressed. A lot of people right now are holding in a lot of negative things. I'm talking about from broken homes, from them trying to create a home and that home gets broken. So it's like a double whammy to their spirit. And this is Men's Health Month, Men's Mental Health Month. And I have not heard anybody say anything in reference to it. You know why? Because what's the distraction? Right now, what we got going on over there in Iran, everything, we got the ice, we got so many fucking distractions that aren't relevant to men building their lives right now. And that's where I want us to get back to that place of feeling that strength, not just in here, but also in here and also in here in these hands too. Having your emotional, having your mental, having your physical, and having your economic all together in one. All together in one. Because we don't have that. We have a lot of men that are taking their lives. The suicide rate is at its highest within the first 6 months this year. And if we're going to change the numbers to that, then that means we got to get real about our health. We got to get real about our thoughts. We got to get real about who we are and what we see in the mirror. Because a lot of us may be healthy on the outside, but we might not be healthy on the inside. There are a lot of people out here that are crying behind the smiles, that get out their bed every day and aren't prepared. And when I say aren't prepared, they are not prepared because they want somebody to talk to get them through things, not to co-sign, not to perpetuate, but to actually give them some game, to coach them, hold them accountable. But due to the society where everything is just a free-for-all, now we're in the situation that we're in now to where there is not a line to draw in the sand. Cartel Boy has to take meds for his mental health. See? You see what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm saying. You can't throw money at certain things because they're not going to get better. A lot of times the money makes it a lot worse. And that's why I want to talk about these things and have these conversations. And when I say conversations, high vibrational conversations, because there is no platform really getting in depth about it. There is no platform getting in depth about mental health, about actually having the mental capacity and receiving things and not looking at it as a negative. I'm talking about receiving things and actually using it as rocket fuel to go out in this world to become a better person. You got people like Yada Awakening lying to people. You got people like Derek Jackson coming out here lying to people. You got all of these guys who are fakes, phonies, and posers who are out here literally perpetuating the ignorance, even using spirituality and using God to not tell the truth to people. Scam artists, really scam artists. And they've got, I don't know. They have millions of followers. And exactly is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spearhead this movement to knock off the bullshit, to knock off the fakes, to knock off the phonies, to knock off the posers. Because at the end of the day, your money ain't gonna be able to save you when you actually know within your spirit and heart of truth that you're a fucking liar. And I think it's time for them to be called out. It's time to start pushing these cats off the block. They've been bullshitting too long. It's time to get rid of these jokers. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to give a fuck about somebody, they got to give a fuck about the people that they actually perpetuating the ignorance to.